Hi there, WasabiNoise here. My previous video got a lot of attention for a small channel, so thank you guys, appreciate the love. In my previous video, I've shown you how to approach the Ableton Push layout. That's how I do it. It's not right or wrong, it's just the way I visualize things here to help me navigate through this layout. And I wanted to show you how do I approach the same thing in chromatic mode. Before going into this, let me recap a little bit. When we are in key, in this case C major, I think about it as Roman numerals, where you have the first chord, the second chord, the third chord, and so on. That means that this is the first chord, and this is the same chord one octave. And well, this is a triad chord. The only problem here is that you're only playing inside the key of C major, or whatever key you choose on. And what's going to happen is that this is a major chord because we're in C major. And then we have 4 and 5 are going to be major, but any other chord is going to be minor or diminished. In C major, this is going to be diminished, and the other ones are going to be minor. So if you want to go into more detail, please watch my previous video where I explain this, how I visualize this thing. Let's remember this. Now let's jump into chromatic mode. So straight away, what you have to think is the highlighted notes are the notes in the C major. If you in key, you had to do like the C major chord triad like this. In chromatic mode, you have to do the same, but removing all the black keys. So that means that you have to just play this. Actually, if you push these notes and then go back to in key, you'll see that these are highlighted. This is also highlighted because it's repeating, so forget about this one. If you're lost in chromatic mode, you can sometimes go to in key and then just try to make like a shape. Like, let's say I want to make this D minor 7th chord, and I go to chromatic mode, and you'll see that it's hard to see with my hands, but the notes that I played when in key are now highlighted, so I can kind of see the shapes that you have to do to make that chord here. So let's see. So this is a C major 7th. So you can see how this is the shape that you would do in chromatic mode. One of the advantages of using the chromatic mode is that the chord shapes that you do are going to stay always the same. If I'm playing a C major and I transpose this C major into somewhere else and I keep this same shape, you're actually playing a C sharp major now, or a D major, or a D sharp major. So this shape is going to always be the same for major. So the problem we had here when you are in key is that this is a minor chord, this is a D minor, and this is a C major. So you're actually not seeing by the shape which kind of chord are you playing. Like, this is a diminished, B diminished, so it looks rather differently here. So if you want to play diminished chords all over the place, you can do this shape and you'll do it. So it's super nice that changing to chromatic mode from in key keeps highlighted the notes that are actually from that shape. So if you really like a chord, try the chord here and then go to chromatic while you're still pushing the notes, and then you'll see those notes on chromatic mode. As I was saying in my previous video, I improved a lot my music theory knowledge because of the push, because of the way that all this works. I'm a person that relies a lot on visualization, and if I cannot see something, it's really hard to understand. But in this case, like, you can use push into your advantage to really improve on music theory. The cool thing about chromatic mode is that the shapes remain the same. So if you want to play minor chords, you're always going to do this, and no matter what. If you play the piano, like C major is what the piano is built for. For some reason, don't ask me why, they built a piano with the C major scale in place so that the black keys are the sharper notes. By having the push in chromatic mode in C major, which is the default, you have the same idea, but with highlighted notes and dark notes. So let's run into all the chords. So if you see right away, like all the shapes we have, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and then we have, like if I try to play minor is this one, major is this one, because this is the root note, like if you remember from the previous one. So we cannot play major or minor unless we borrow chords from a different key. So in this case, what we have to do is this shape, and this is a diminish, V diminish. So this is very helpful when you're going through other modes and you don't know, like you have no idea what Locrian means, but okay, let's try to figure this out. I cannot do a major chord and a minor chord, so I'm actually doing a diminish. So by knowing that any major chord is like this and any minor chord is like this, you immediately can see that you cannot play any of these here. So the next note we have is C sharp. So in this case, I can clearly see that this is a C sharp major, and this shape fits completely well. So the next one we have, this is D sharp. So in D sharp, we immediately see that this is a minor chord. The next shape we have is F minor. Then we have F sharp major, G sharp major, and A sharp minor, and we go again with C diminished. This is a weird scale, and I think it's really hard to compose music with this, in my opinion. I think Björk has one song in Locrian, and there's somebody that made a YouTube video about it. Go check it out. Maybe I'll put the link in the description. I think the point is that you can learn a lot of how these scales are built on, and you can always go back to major if you really want to just do it like on a piano and learn like this. So one of the big differences that you'll see when using chromatic mode, if you're really used to in-key mode, is that now this has grown up to this column. I like to visualize this as a 3x5 shape. So that means that from here, the root notes are going to be here. The problem with chromatic mode is that you run out of space. That's why sometimes I really like to start with this, play with the key to know how that key sounds, and then move to here if I want to borrow chords or have a melody that runs in between. I'm going to put some links in the description for the piano, and also a really nice VST that I use a lot to see the chords I'm playing. It's a chord analyzer. I'm sure there's some nicer than this one, but this is the one I use. It always works. It's really helpful. One thing I want to show you is how to deal with problems that you may run into when trying to make some shapes and you run out of space. So this is F major, and I can play like this. But if you pay attention, when I'm playing F, I'm also seeing this highlight, which makes sense because this is the next note. So this is the next note after E. So E, F goes that way, but also it repeats here. Why is this helpful? Well, let's say I want to play something that I'm running out of space. So in this case, instead of playing this F, I can play this F here, so I can make this shape. So that means that this is also a major shape I can transpose to other places. Like this is E major. Let's try to play E major here. Now I cannot do it. I can either play it here, or I can either do this shape. It also depends on how you're running out of space and how you want to do it. But in this case, just maybe always try with chords. You can see things highlighting in other places, so you can transpose that shape into different positions. If you want to analyze also other songs, this is a great way to do it, because you see if somebody tells you, hey, this song is in G major and it has this chord, and then you play along and you say, oh wait, but this is not from G major, so they are borrowing chords from a different key, in this case minor. So the other stuff that I want to talk about, I think I rumbled a lot with different things. This is like 44 minutes long, and I will have to cut a lot of things. So lately I've been doing some lo-fi songs that require some nice chords, like seventh chords and all of that. And, I could go here and maybe I want to play it in minor. So let's use C minor. That's fine. And then if you remember from my other video, this is a seven chord. And see, this is C minor 7 chord, F minor, and G minor. But the problem is, like, sometimes this is not a seventh. So this is when you run into problems when you go this way. Like, this is D sharp major 7th, which just sounds nice. Like, I mean, this actually sounds good. Okay, that sounds really nice. What I was doing before was this. See, because of the shapes. Yeah, I hope my hands don't. Yeah, let's try it like this. So I was doing something like this, and so the good thing about Chromatic Mode is that now I know that these are minor 7. Oh, sorry. This is minor 7 chord. I don't really know these chords by heart, and I'm still learning. But I think a lot of people will benefit from understanding the shapes here and understanding more about music theory and putting these together. I think it's a really nice exercise to study it. Like, you just, once you know the shapes, you just see it every time. Like, that's why I like it so much, that I can go through any kind of chromatic mode key and then just play with it, and I know what's built on. Like, I know it's minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. So okay, so Dorian has, like, the last one is not diminished like in the major one, it's actually major. So yeah, it's so nice to understand these things now. With the help of some VSTs that tell you which chord are you on, with the keyboard, you start to put things together, and you start making songs that, in the case of lo-fi, I'm trying to keep it simple, because I haven't been making music for a while now. I was learning piano and stuff like that, but I wanted to make sure that I was using the right chords, the right kind of vibe that you hear in this song. So it's actually simple, but at the same time, it's nice chords, like this kind of stuff. So you still benefit a lot of using in key, but most of the time you don't really know what you're doing or what kind of chords. So use the chord analyzer for that and kind of work both ways. But you can still, like, borrow chords from somewhere else, and maybe it will sound nice. So inversions work the same way as I shown you on the previous video, but in chromatic mode. The major inversions work like this. So you have this shape, like this triangle, then you have this shape, which you're just moving this to here. So you just have to remember that this is an octave. Like you have it here. You don't need to really remember anything because this is an octave and you know it right away because this is highlighted as the colored note. So what you have to do is, like, if you play like this and you keep moving octaves below, you're just doing inversions. And so this goes to here, so this is another inversion, and then you go back to the triad but one octave. So basically, so this is going backwards. I'm so sloppy. I think I'm gonna stop on the theory here. Let me know in the comments if you want to know more stuff about this. Maybe I don't know it, but I'll try to figure it out. I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. The theory and all the stuff ends here, but now I want to talk also about something else. If you like just wanted to see the tutorial, just you can stop here. But like, there's people that told me that in key is like cheating and that chromatic mode is the way you should always play the push. I don't know. I think that's a really harsh comment, and this is a tool, right? Like, this is something you can use on your advantage. So maybe you're learning music theory and you want to understand better things, and maybe, I don't know, I don't think it's right or wrong. Like, you can use whatever you want. And if this inspires you, and the really nice thing about in key mode is that I can go so fast moving around, and I don't have to really think much about it, and everything is in key and nice. In chromatic mode, I can learn more stuff and maybe go outside the key. But I think in key is really nice. Like, I don't think it's wrong. And actually, I think the best thing you can do is learn both and then use them accordingly. And sometimes, I don't know, like the trick of going like this and moving to in chromatic and seeing what kind of shape is that. Like, you're learning how chords are built inside a key. So don't let anyone tell you you should not play like this. It just doesn't matter. Like, in the end, you want to make music and you want to make nice sounding music, and everything else is just tools and things that help you. And I don't know, and you can play this and then you can edit the MIDI on Ableton Live. That doesn't really matter what tools you use or how you use them. As long as these tools allow you to reach your goals and make your music and make it sound the way you want it to sound. Learn how the tool works, but don't think that something is right or wrong because one is easier and the other is like cheating. Like somebody said, like, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Just do whatever you feel like using in that moment. Like, I'm now doing more lo-fi stuff, so I want to be able to see the chords I'm doing, but sometimes I'm doing something more like synthwave where I don't really want to use complicated stuff and I want to keep it super simple in terms of music theory. So I go in key mode. Like, I don't really care. Like, just use whatever you want. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you want to know more about it. Just subscribe if you haven't. Push the bell button. I hope I'll try to push more videos. I promise. We are going to move to a new house, and I was like, oh, I'll wait until we move, but I was just putting excuses. I'll try to keep finding time to make some of these videos, and today it's been hard to set up everything and all of that, like after some time without doing this. But now that I've done it once, I'll try to keep going and keep pushing and keep putting videos out there. I really appreciate the love that I've seen on the comments and everyone telling me that the other push video was super cool. So I hope that this one also is helpful for you. If you have any ideas or any questions, I'll be more than happy to take these ideas and make another video and keep uploading stuff. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.